Wow, look who's come to visit. Yesterday we had Daddy here in the refine analysis. Today we have the daughter. But it's going to be a completely different topic. So enjoy.
Let the lesson begin.
What's up guys, Akariss here. Alright, so usually I don't do this, but I think it's appropriate for me to appreciate Lilina and her Resplendent art. For those of you that have been around a while will know how impactful Lilina has been to like the YouTube channel or even the Twitch experience to some extent. I am pretty, like again with Resplendence, I don't participate because I'm F2P, but I know a lot of people do, and Lilina's actually a great candidate for the Resplendent, so I definitely want to cover her, give you my thoughts on her, and I'm going to cover AoE Specials and the importance of AoE Specials. Not covering Legendary Lilina, even though she has an AoE special, but how good even Infantry Lilina is, and something you should highly consider. Remember, even though I'm talking about the Resplendent, 2 to all stats is not game breaking, and you can easily get by even without the Resplendent stats, but it'll be covered in this video, plus AoE specials, which ones to pick, and so forth. So let's start by actually taking a look at the art and my impressions on it. I actually think this is a perfect fit for Lilina Muspel, along with Daddy, who's also Muspel. Makes complete sense to me. So the art is spectacular. I actually like it very much, even more so than the original. Really nice details. I'm not a great critique. I'm just generally just appreciating how good this looks, and definitely is flavorful of her character. Okay, so what I do want to talk about first, of course, is the importance of an AoE special in today's video, okay? So before I even talk about Lilina, her effects, what the Resplendent stats mean, and how she approaches different matchups, what we need to talk about is AoE specials. And I don't think enough people know about them, their patterns, which ones to pick, why some are good and why some aren't. First of all, don't use growing specials, okay? Don't use growing specials. The one that I will recommend first and foremost is going to be the blazing specials. So in this case, you'll see that I have Blazing Thunder under me here, although the text might be a bit difficult to read. But generally speaking, blazing specials are my recommendation. The 2 big ones that I think are best, especially for AR, either on AR defense, let's go with AR defense, is going to be Blazing Flame or Blazing Thunder. The reason you want blazing specials is because they check the out of combat visible stats, okay? This is very important for you to realize how important this is. It doesn't matter what the in combat stats are to some extent, as long as you do like 1 damage or, you know, just a couple damage and basically blow through units using AoE specials. This has never changed in the game, and it's still very strong if you can get it to consistently work. So the reason Blazing Thunder or Blazing Flame I feel are the best for air defense is actually because Blazing Flame has a horizontal line, and like let's say on a cav line, for example, you hit with Blazing Flame, you're going to hit more than 1 target. With Blazing Thunder, most supports tend to be 2 spots below, and Blazing Thunder hits that. So you want to hit the support partner and essentially create some sort of momentum there. Now, if you are playing on offense or PV content, then I would think that Blazing Wind is a decent option as well, since it just hits everything around, and units tend to clump up, or enemy teams tend to be clumped up if you're playing AR offense. Just to sum it up again, Blazing Thunder and Blazing Flame are great for air defense. Blazing Wind, in my opinion, is very good for PV content or AR offense, and that's because of the patterns which I just showed a moment ago. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Lilina here. She's very important and how she interacts with AoE specials because she has an insanely high attack stat and she is basically mergeable. Resplendent helps to push this over the edge, but nonetheless, you're still going to get many kills with Lilina. Hitting res is also great, more preferred than hitting defense, since most units have lower res than defense, or at least the prominent tanks do. The unique thing about Lilina is her preference weapon is Forblaze, and it's still very good in this day and age, despite it being a Deathblow refine, which could be definitely compared to someone like Frederick and fully memed, but for her, it's fine. Now, her base effect is Chill Res, and you'll realize how much synergy this actually has with AoE specials, because it checks the visible attack stat of Lilina and the visible res stat of the enemy tank. And most of the time, stuff like Vector, for example, don't care about penalties, but they actually do when you're considering out-of-combat visible stats, and that swings the combat favor into Lilina's side. With the release of something like Pent, Times Pulse, and maybe some Infantry Pulse here and there, or Grand Scratchers, things like that, there is ways to make the Blazing Specials consistent for Lilina, but it is the biggest weakness if she's not being able to fire those off. So this is what Lilina's stat spread looks like with Resplendent stats. It's, as you can see, pretty good. 39 attack in 2021 is very respectable, especially on a unit who has a decent preference weapon like that and is infantry. Very key factors here. The first thing I'll recommend is basically a AR offense or PvE build. This is pretty standard. So up to 70 attack with Life and Death 4, and you just, with Heavy Blade, you basically have AoE specials on every combat. As soon as you get the ball rolling, you're able to keep nuking things. Of course, an ideal C slot here might be something like Times Pulse, if you have a friend or allies who are doing Infantry Pulse. But basically, this is the AoE Lilina, and I was using this even before she had Forblaze with Bulgan on Tome because her attack stat was amazing. It still is. And yeah, so again, Resplendent, LND4, you make worth what you have, but this is still a very good option. And if you feel like save skills are giving you trouble, Lilina can crack through a lot of armors. I'll show you that later. Okay, this is more of a defensive build for Lilina, so it's very important she doesn't get hit by Pulse Smoke or anything like even Pulse Tie, anything that might reduce her special cooldown. If you can effectively keep her special intact, this is an insanely potent thing. And because of Life and Death 4 and Life and Death Seal, which definitely synergizes with Lilina, you're able to use Windsweep pretty consistently against most tanks. So you're going to, if you don't kill, which by the way, she mostly does, but if you don't kill, she's able to maybe get danced and maybe hit something else or finish off the opponent off of a dance. So that's crazy good. Okay, so for AR offense though, if you didn't want to use it for more of a PvE AoE build, and honestly you probably should, you could consider doing something like a Blade Tome build. So this is like a relic of the past, but it is still very good on the super high attack units. In the case of like Lilina, using Roarblade here, Close Counter Vantage Miracle with a solo in the seal. You could do this, but I'm not totally convinced because like Vantage strategies in general have not been as consistent in AR offense because it's harder to get good initiations and you risk losing pots. So this is a for fun idea if you wanted to pull that out. Another good one is potentially a tank build for Lilina. So Lilina has a really good mostly like a decent serviceable speed stat. She doesn't completely dump it, and because of Resplendent and 15 flowers and just easily merged up, you can actually make her fairly tanky by combining a set of skills like this. Now Unity Blooms is unfortunately locked to Henriette, so this might have passed you, but Roar Serpent could be a good alternative if you wanted to do it. Again, just for fun ideas, not like something you should commit to. If anything, Forblaze AoE on either air offense, defense, or PvE is her place. Finally, now with our dual infantry being a thing, you could make her a decent support on your team. I think infantry Hexblade works just amazingly. You could also just use like Joint Drives, or the carry itself that isn't Lilina could use Sorcery Blade Seal. That all works just fine, mix and match. But Lilina is a great potent nuke and provides chill res support for your team. So as a arena option, I think it's okay. However, Tharja, I feel, gets a little bit of support and nuking power that could be a bit more favorable over Lilina. Okay, so, and here's where a lot of the surprises come from, the simulations, right? So with simulations, and even I was shocked to see some of this stuff. Yeah, okay, so what you have here, and the top side is the sims, of course, Lilina on AR defense, and your common tanks that will actually play into you for AR defense. If you're able to consistently set up those blazing specials, you'll see without her getting hit by any debuffs, you will see some great results. So that is Vector with 4 mythics, +1, plus res IV, summoner supported, and he dies. He gets hit for an AoE that hits for almost about 70 damage. Which is insane, okay? Lilina is great even in this day. If Vector got hit by chill res, that gap would get wider. Lilina with Windsweep especially, so if she doesn't kill Vector, she probably will hurt him so bad that someone else would follow up and kill. This is why infantry pulse teams and someone like Pent, for example, trying to make this all consistent, or you just avoiding pulse smoke is key to making your defenses so good. I think Lilina and Legendary Lilina, of course, also really good, but Gifted Magic isn't as strong because of that 80% difference. Getting an AoE special, though, active on Legendary Lilina is definitely a cool thing to consider. Next up, some other matchups as well. So we got Winter Altina. So same idea, and you would think because she has amazing res or attack res unity that she would survive. Nope, AoE specials are super strong, and when you're stacking attack through the use of Life and Death 4 plus attack, just Duma and Ciro is giving you extra attack on top of that. There isn't really that many tanks in the game that can actually fully tank an AoE special from someone like Lilina. And Resplendent stats do help push this over the edge, but in reality, even without Resplendent stats, or even a few merges missing, you're still getting the kill on all of these tanks. Oh, Bike plus 10. I mean, it's green, so you probably expected it, but yeah, he dies without a problem. And finally, Brave Edelgard. So Brave Edelgard gets hit by like 72 AoE damage, and even a huge hard hit of about 60 or 50 in combat as well. Easy for Lilina. So if you were on the fence about investing in some super good nuker, you just needed to invest in this 3 and 4 star red mage, put it on your team, and maybe if you had Pent or Times Pulse or Infantry Pulse teams already, some candidates for it, Lilina's a good fit. She's always been a good unit, and I feel like I don't see her enough, but I've definitely lost to her plenty of times. Let me know what you think of Lilina in the comments below, or maybe some more stuff about AoE specials. What have you had the most success with? Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next one. Much love. Peace.
It's over.